Nice. Happy Wednesday. Happy day 3 of the Jumpstart challenge. I woke up so excited this morning. I was back here behind my camera being off doing the happy dance, honestly, because yeah, it's a party over here. It's a party. Yeah, we're having a party. I can tell you, good morning, Suzanne. So glad you're back for day 3. Today is Mojo Day, you guys. We've set the stage. We are truly, if you are leaning into this work that I'm setting out in front of you, this challenge that I'm setting out in front of you, we are setting the stage. We are setting you up for success for the best end of year ever, cruising into next year with a tremendous wave of momentum and energy that is just going to spill over into every part of your business and your life. So here's the thing. You're not doing it for me. You're not doing it even for yourself. Like we talked about, you're doing it for the people in your life that you truly love, that you want to show up at your highest and best for. And you all have those people in your life. I know you do. And I know the kinds of people that I attract into my universe because I have such a tremendous love of people. And the people that I attract in my universe also have a tremendous love of people and their people. And so I know at your heart of hearts that you are a lover just simply because you're showing up here. And because of that, your love, you have so much power to create in your business and in your life. You have way more power than you even know. And that's exactly what we're doing, right? During this Jumpstart challenge. So, do you know how many times you're going to have to restart, reboot, regroup? If you are a go getter, if you're a high performer, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a contributor, do you know how many times you're going to have to reset and jumpstart? I don't know the exact number, but I know that it is in the tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of times that you're going to have to jumpstart. So you don't have to do it with me. Um, you can do it on your own. You can do it any day of the week, any hour of the week, any minute that you choose. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize: they are choosing. You are choosing. So if you're choosing not to, jumpstart, restart, regroup, reboot when you need to, then that's a choice too, right? And we see a lot of people drifting, stuck, stalled, frustrated, just honestly not turned on by their life. And I think that life is just too precious. I just think it's too precious. I mean, we can't just drift in complacency and comfort. And we talked about how complacency and comfort are close cousins, right? And so in some ways, yeah, we got to give ourselves rest. We got to give ourselves a break, but if we just gravitate towards comfort and complacency, really the danger is that we're not going to live into our true highest and best, our God-given potential, our purpose. And not showing up for that purpose for me is just not acceptable. I mean, since I was a little girl, young teenage girl, I guess my biggest fear in life was that, like arriving at the end of the road. And I don't know what at the age of 12 or 13 made me hyper aware of this, but there I was, laying in bed, looking at the ceiling. Um, and, we didn't have a lot of screens. I mean, we had a tiny 13-inch black and white TV, you guys. That's what I watched cartoons on Saturday morning. Like, I'm really dating myself. Yeah. I was born in 1971. We had a tiny, black and white TV, and I watched Flintstones and Scooby-Doo on that black and white TV, and I was thrilled by it. I didn't have a screen to entertain myself with. I didn't have a phone to lay in bed with and scroll through endless social media. I had to use my imagination. I had to get inside my head. And that's when I really, you know, I guess really connected with God and the universe. And so there I am, hyper aware of the fact that I don't want to get to the end of my life and leave my potential on the table. I don't want to look back on my life with regrets and shoulda, woulda, couldas. I don't want to live that life. And that has always followed me my whole life. And I think that continues to encourage me to set myself up for success. And if that means rebooting or jump starting 47 million times, well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to reset 47 million times because yesterday is gone. Today is not in front of me, but I don't have it yet. The thing I have is today, and every day is a chance at a fresh start. So it really doesn't matter what you did or didn't do yesterday. You've got a new choice today. And that choice is super, super powerful. So I applaud you. I acknowledge you for making those choices. For those of you who are here live this morning, good morning. Livleen, Suzanne, Nina, I see you guys. I'm so happy you're here. And I love that you're taking the time to recognize the choices that you're making because I know each and every one of you have so much potential and this day has so much potential. So here we are to talk about Mojo. And if you think about building a house, you know, you've got to put a quality foundation underneath it. And that's that motion and that mindset piece. You guys, these are pillars, right? And right alongside of that is your faith, you know, your belief system. And we're not going to talk too much about faith, but honestly, in that mindset piece, we did talk about it a bit because it's underneath everything. You know, everything that I'm doing, it's anchored in my faith. But your mindset absolutely colors your universe. So when you walk out into your day, like we talked about yesterday, right? Is everything happening to you or is it happening for you? Are you a victim of the things going on in your external circumstances? Are you so distracted by the chaos in the world that you can't take ownership over the opportunities that you have right in front of you? Maybe it's just that single conversation that's going to happen today that's going to be a game changer. And you never know where that conversation is going to happen. It could be in the grocery store, could be in the parking lot, it could be with you, yourself, and you in front of the mirror this morning. I don't know what that is for you, but I know there's a tremendous amount of distraction out there. There's a tremendous amount of chaos. And I want you to recognize that you can reel back the power. You do not have to give all of this the power over your day, over your mind, over your feelings. All of that stuff is a choice. So, what you focus on expands. We're going to choose to focus on the things right in front of us, the things that we can really impact, the tremendous opportunities that are right in front of us. So, that mindset and that motion, staying in motion, a minimum of 20 minutes a day. You guys, that is, you got to keep that up because I'll tell you what, you can't manufacture Mojo from a headspace. Yes, you still have to choose to be in the flow, choose to see those things. And that's the mindset piece. But honestly, it's so much easier to leverage natural energy, organic energy from inside, right? When you have a spirit of motion and momentum, it's so much easier because you're not having to use willpower and discipline and uh, beating up on yourself. You don't have to use force to get things done. You get to use power. And here's the thing, there's a tremendous amount of difference between power and force. So today we're going to talk about how to really harness that power. So now you know it's anchored in motion and in mindset, right? And of course, that faith piece underneath all of it. That's the foundation. Now we're going to frame up. Now it's time to frame up. You know, when you're building a house, you put the foundation in. Now you get to frame up the walls. Now you're really going somewhere, right? And that's this Mojo. This is charging forward, right? You know those days when you wake up without your alarm and you just have natural buoyancy, natural energy, and you bounce out of bed and you're excited for the day and you're looking forward to the day and you have that curiosity or something you're looking forward to. And you know how we talked about that curiosity yesterday, that Christmas morning feeling of like, what is today going to bring? That is possible to feel every day. It is possible to feel that every day, to have that natural curiosity because you really don't know what gifts today has to offer. And so I want you guys to live in that powerful place where you don't have to use force to get things done. You don't have to use force to have momentum, to build that energy, to be the engine of your business. I want you to harness that natural energy that's organic because it's coming from within. And the core of that within is that love, right? Because that is the most powerful place to build anything from. And you are naturally going to attract into your world better people, better opportunities, better conversations, better external circumstances because you're just literally vibrating on a better level, right? And so it's so much more powerful. So much more is going to happen for you. So this is literally a positive cycle that you grow and you build. It's literally a snowball rolling downhill. And I want you to leverage all that power. That's why we're starting in such a powerful way with the Jumpstart Challenge. So if you did your homework at this point, you've gotten in motion, you have pulled up your sprint primer and started thinking about your 3 targets for the sprint, right? And one physical, one financial, one other. And I've started thinking about those things too. I don't have them pinned down yet, to be honest with you. I have one of them, the other. And I'll share my targets with you at the end of the week. I'm planning to have them really zeroed in on by Friday so that I can get maximum momentum moving forward. But I have to kind of give myself some time to marinate on it because I want those targets to be compelling. I want them to come from my heart space and I want them to pull me towards them. I don't want to choose them from just a head space and put something random down on paper that doesn't have any personal meaning to me because that's not going to get me up in the morning. That's not going to get me over the speed bumps or the wall kicking moments, right? I'm just going to get frustrated. The minute I get frustrated or I feel demotivated, right? I'm going to be like checked out. These have to be 3 targets that are crystal clear. Clarity is king. They are compelling and that I can commit to with my heart. And so I'm giving myself some time to really think about that. Every time I do this, I have to reframe them a little bit different because some things just don't have resonance with me. Sometimes I've put something down on paper and it sounds good, but it just doesn't grab hold of my heart. It doesn't have enough meaning. I don't have a strong enough why yet around that. And so I like to put it down on paper and then go, many layers deeper and just give myself to marinate, some time to marinate on it. So I encourage you to do that. The other thing that you've done at this point, if you've done your homework, and there is a chance to go back and watch those replays, and I encourage you to do that, is pull up in the Jumpstart workbook, the old story versus new story, right? The old you versus the new you exercise. Because here's the thing with Mojo. We got to put some things down to really get into the flow, to really harness the freedom that's available to us in those choices that we're talking about. We got to put down some things because I see a lot of people stuck, yes, and stalled. But what I also see is a lot of people carrying a lot of baggage. And let's be honest with ourselves. We all have it. We all have it. I went through a really powerful exercise. David Bayer, if you've never looked him up, he learned under Tony Robbins, and it really changed his life learning under Tony. And Tony gave him some tools in his tool bag. And these are the guys that have really breathed so much inspiration into me. And here's the thing, guys. There's a different voice for everybody. We were talking about this the other day in my friends and family circle. And, maybe it's not David Bayer for you or Tony Robbins or Mel Robbins, or, there's a number of, Brene Brown, there's a number of coaches and trainers out there. It's okay. Not every voice is for every person, but some of these people, Tony likes to say, success leaves clues. They're leaving a breadcrumb trail. The way that they think about things. Dean Graziosi is another one who works right alongside Tony, and these guys are so powerful because they really have harnessed. Bob Proctor. I know, Nina. You've learned so much under Bob, and Bob is no longer with us. on this planet, but I know he's an angel looking out for us. Such powerful thinking, right? They leave breadcrumb trails on the trail for us, and we get to pick up some of these breadcrumbs and we get to absorb them. We get to sponge them up, and I have just sponged up so much good stuff, and that's why I like to give back, right? Because these guys have really fed me. And, maybe something I'm going to say this week will give you an inspiration for an hour or a day, or set you up for the next 90 days that really becomes the next 90 days, the next 90 days. That is, and like Nina, maybe you're going to be here with me 8, challenges from now, but we're building a remarkable life together is what we're doing. So as momentum warriors, we get to encourage each other on this journey. But David Bayer led me into this exercise, and he was talking about, old beliefs. And that old you versus new you exercise can be really powerful if you really take some time with it, because in the old you get to identify what are some of the old habits, what are some of the old thinking, what are some of the old ways of being that maybe you recognize aren't really serving you at the highest and best. And maybe there's some new ways that you need to adopt, some new habits. And David Bayer likes to take it out of the realm of beliefs, old beliefs, into new decisions. And I think that is so cool, because if you grasp the change in the language, what you're doing is, again, harnessing the power of choice, right? You might have had a whole set of limiting old beliefs and habits, but you get to choose and make a new decision today about what that's going to look like. So I had an opportunity. I carved out a window of time, and this was, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 months ago. Maybe longer, maybe it was a year. But I took that exercise, and it almost took me all weekend, to be honest. And first, I just kind of stayed in the old beliefs and the old ways of thinking. And I started to dissect, like, what's all my stinking thinking? Like, what are the things that stop me, the resistance points from getting started, from moving forward, from embracing something, right? Where do I have a lack of resourcefulness? Or do I perceive a lack of resources? Because many times in the past, I've gotten stuck thinking, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't know enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't know enough. Okay. Well, let's look at those, right? All of those can be deconstructed and reconstructed. And what I realized is sometimes I was using those as excuses not to take a first step. So here's the thing. Many times we stop ourselves from taking a first step because we want to see how all the other steps are going to unfold. And we talked about this each of the days of the Jumpstart Challenge. You don't have to know all the steps. You're not going to know all the steps. Don't wait for all the steps. What you want to identify is the next step, the next natural step. And when I say natural step, what I'm bringing back into play here is power versus force. What is the next step you can take without forcing it, right? What is the next step that you can take that feels organic, that where you've got power from within and it's easy enough to take? You perceive you have the resources. I can guarantee you everything that you want to do, even that requires a lot of money, you have the power to get started on today without more money, with just the money that you have right in front of us. So let's take an example. I want to get amazing abs, and I'm going to need a personal trainer to show me how to do it. And that I perceive takes money. I'm going to have to hire a personal trainer. I don't know where that money's going to come from. And so, well, I'm just going to have to wait. I don't know how to hire a personal trainer. Well, okay, that's a choice, but let's reconstruct it. Let's deconstruct it first. To investigate or research this decision, do I need money? Could the next natural step be to just find out who's available in my area, and where I would possibly locate that person, right? Back to who, not how. Well, to reach out and do the research around that costs me $0. I can literally I can open a tab on my browser. I can Google it. I can put it in the Google search bar, amazing abs trainer in my area, and I can find, 5 or 10 personal trainers, and I can start to read about them. That is a powerful first next natural step. It costs me nothing. But if I stay stuck in a perceived lack of resources, then I'm not going to take the first step, right? So I want to challenge you guys during this restart, during this jump start, to look at where have you been holding yourself back from having the mojo, from having the momentum, for creating the momentum, because you're worried about you want to skip to step 10 and you don't know how to do step 10, and so you're not taking step 1, if that makes sense. So, this is a really powerful exercise, and I learned so much. And when David reframed it for me around new decisions, I grabbed the opportunity. I was like, I'm really going to look at this. I'm going to spend some time with this, because I would bet that some of my old ways are rooted in stinking thinking and old limiting beliefs that I have the power to change today if I get really clear. So what I actually ended up with is I ended up with 5 pages of new decisions. And then he challenges you to go into the evidence of those new decisions to show, so one of my new decisions was there's always enough time. There's always enough time, right? And the evidence for that was when I put big rocks in, I always find a way to make the time to accomplish them. My decisions shape time, not the other way around. I'm using that as an example because that was definitely one of my limiting beliefs. And that is something that I constantly have to go back to. Whenever I start to think I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't know enough, I reel it back to, is that true? The minute it comes out of my mouth now, I actually recognize it. Like if I talk to people about how busy I am and I don't have time to do this, I really try to examine that, because we can get so ego attached in our culture and our society to being busy. Busy for busyness sake is nothing. It's ego. It's just pridefulness. I used to realize that, in college, there used to almost be like this it used to be a badge of honor or a medal for valor, who would compete for getting the least amount of sleep. And the next day it would be like, oh, well, I only slept 2 hours because I had to study for this exam and I had to write this paper and I had to do this. And it's like, what is this competition that we're out for? Are we out to just like, is there a competition in our culture for like how, who's the busiest and who's the most strung out and burnt out and bored out and, and stressed out? Like, seriously, is that what we want to be known for being too busy and to being so stressed out and being a victim of all of our circumstances? Yuck. Like, that's not what I want to be known for. Like, you know, at the end of the journey, I don't want to be known for being too busy to be available for people, for being too stressed out, to be able to see the amazing opportunities in my life, to be grateful, to be deeply, profoundly grateful for the people and the places and the, things right outside of my window. I mean, I have this amazing maple tree right outside my window. I don't want to be so focused on the forest that I can't recognize literally the things that are right in my path that I can be grateful for and embrace. Right. So I do want you to take some time with that old you, new you exercise, because there's some things you got to put down in order to grab onto the freedom that's available to you today, to choose those things. And we talked a lot about time and financial freedom is one of the reasons that we as entrepreneurs or in sales, we get into the game because we want more time and money freedom. Well, what if I told you that some of that freedom that you're looking for out here is actually available right here? What if you don't have to do anything else other than recognize what's right in front of you right here? What if you don't have to go chasing sunsets? What if you get to just zero in on the sun shining on the moment right in front of you? I'm going to tell you guys, I mean, this has been Such a powerful shift for me. And like I said, I'm a work in progress. I have to constantly reel myself back to gratitude. But let's identify the things that you got to put down. So, are you carrying shame? You know, we have all had things in our past, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Are you carrying limiting beliefs? Are you carrying stinking thinking? You know, are you carrying crappy decisions? You know, are there decisions that you made about who you are and how you're going to show up in the world and what it means, you know, your upbringing or what your parents did for you or didn't do for you or where you grew up or where you couldn't grow up or what money you had or what money you didn't have? Are there some decisions that you made about that you're using to define you today that are literally just elective choices that you can redecide? I bet you there are, because I know for me that resulted in 5 pages of new decisions. So, you know, and again, I mean, I've been a student of this work. I've been consciously, mindfully chopping this tree um, to work and really grab onto the power of my thoughts and what I can co-create in this world, because I want so badly to live within my purpose. And I truly feel that one of the things that I'm here to do is to equip and to encourage people on this journey. And that's what we're here to do, right? That's why we're here in the Jumpstart Challenge. So yes, we get to jumpstart, we get to restart together 47 million times if that's what it takes. And we have a very powerful opportunity in the next 90 days right in front of us. And this week is all about getting clear about what those 3 new targets are going to be. So let's reel it all the way back to that mindset and motion piece and get into Mojo and decide what it is that we got to put down to really experience the freedom of charging forward, happier, with more power, with more joy than ever, right? What do we have to put down? So, what's standing in your way? Where is the resistance inside of you? What are the things you're telling yourself you can't do because of, I can't do this, fill in the blank, because of this, fill in the blank? What are the things? What are the things? I don't know what it is for you. Nina, I see one of your goals is to clean up your mind and declutter your house and make space for new things and new ideas. Yeah, I applaud that. And I will tell you, I mean, one of the things I say around here is when in doubt, clean things out. If you don't know what to do next, like what the next natural step is, clean something out. You know, and my sales team has thought I was crazy in the past. Like, okay, guys, we're getting ready for the fall sprint or we're getting ready for the spring sprint. So what I want you to do this weekend is clean out your car. And they're like, oh my gosh, what does cleaning out my car have to do with anything? A lot. When we move the energy in our life and we declutter our life, I love that, Nina, because when you declutter your life, you do make space for new things. And I know, I know all of us have places that we can declutter and simplify and make space for the new. We've got to let go of the good or the good enough to get to something great. So, what is standing in your way? Where are the resistance points? What are the messes in your mind or in your life that you need to identify so that you can get past it and focus on the new? Focus on the thing that you really want to create. Focus on the things that you're really grateful right in front of you. Let's cut off the oxygen to all that old crap, right? Let's just cut off the oxygen to it and focus on what we really want to create right in front of us. I mean, I've been accused, noticed, I would say, sometimes for like, oh, well, you could be planting flowers at the mailbox while the house is burning down. Yeah, sometimes I get so in the zone, honestly, of like what I'm doing that literally chaos can be going on around me and I'm focused on the beautiful thing right in front of me. I think that you have to have environmental awareness, but at the same time, I don't have to let this chaos in the world around me be the focal point of my attention, because what I focus on expands. If I want to focus on all the political division in this country, for example, well, I'm just going to end up being a hot mess all day, right? I'm going to feel divided. I'm going to feel irritated. I'm going to feel grumpy. it's going to cut off the power to everything else that I want to create in my life. I'm not going to focus on that. That's not where I'm going to have my focus. I'm going to have my focus on you, the people right in front of me that I'm here to equip and encourage and embolden. And I'm going to focus on my 3 targets. I'm going to focus on my team. I'm going to focus on my family, who I deeply love and care about, my team, who I deeply love and care about. And I want to show up for them at my highest and best. So I'm going to focus on those things, because that's way more empowering than giving all my power out here to people who aren't thinking about me, right? So, and for me to live into that place, that highest and best place, I've got to reel back. I got to take back the power of that. And that's where all the mojo comes from. So think about those hangups and bang-ups, that stuff in your past, that stuff that's in your environment that maybe isn't serving you, that really isn't helping catapult you forward. Make a list of the no's, the things that you're not going to carry forward with you anymore. And I get it. It's not as simple as just writing it down on a piece of paper. But if you replace it with a new decision, and I think this is where David Bayer was really trying to get at. First, you identify the old belief, the old pattern, the old stuff, or the stuff right in your environment. To your point, Nina, that maybe needs to be cleaned up. And then you replace it with the new decision, right? What do you choose it to be now? And so, it's not enough just to say, well, I'm not going to eat the chocolate cake. Maybe you have to replace it with a healthy yogurt, right? It's really powerful to decide what you're going to replace the old thinking with. What are you going to replace the old environment with? Are you going to plant a new flower in the backyard, take out the weeds and plant a new flower? Are you just going to take out the weeds? Well, guess what? If you just take out the weeds, new weeds are going to pop up in its place. So it's the same with our thoughts. Let's not just root out the old thinking. Let's plant a new decision and a new belief. And I highly encourage you to read those things often. So I'm going to give you an anchor today for Mojo, because this is a practice, you guys. This is a choice. And I don't know if you're catching the theme here, but I didn't, yes, in some ways, we picked a random day in September to decide to jumpstart, right? This is a really powerful example of choice, right? You can pick any random moment to restart your whole life. If you need to jumpstart every old, thing, belief, pattern that you have right now, you can do it. You can do it today, right now. So, so I want to give you an anchor. And I want this to be a mindful practice at the front end of your day. It doesn't really matter what time you do it. It could be 11 a.m. It could be 5 a.m. It could be 8 a.m. It could be, but I think you need to choose when this is going to be. And I'm going to call this your power 20. Okay. And studies show that you get the most, you get 80% of your results with 20% of your actions. And that is so powerful, because it really doesn't take a lot of new to create something new. It takes 20%. So let's call it your power 20. It's 20 minutes at the front end of your day that you're going to anchor yourself for the day. So yes, you've got motion. Yes, you're putting on new empowered thinking and mindset, but this 20 minutes primes the pump for a powerful rest of your day. And it starts getting you anchored in that kind of mindset, right? In the power of choice, in really recognizing what you have in front of you, and moves you into power versus force. So you're not trying to do something, you're identifying the things that you're most powerfully rooted in terms of choice, so that you can move forward into your day in a powerful new way. So your power 20 has 3 activities within it, and this shouldn't take you a lot of time. Now, some people love to add Bible reading or scripture time in the word to this, or journaling. Those are really great additions to this, but they don't replace these 3 things. Okay. Because these things can go together, right? Most powerfully. And I love to journal, and I do journal. And these are things that I journal. And I love to read, and I love to spend time in quiet in the morning. And that is part of my anchor of the day. But in your Power 20, first, I want you to identify 3 things that you're deeply grateful for, like in a heart space, deep grateful for, like could almost bring you to tears, not just from a headspace, like, oh, I'm grateful for my family. Yes, I get it. But sometimes when we write that down, it's not grabbing us deeply. Instead, go deeper. Oh, I'm deeply grateful for my daughter and the way she shows up and cares about me. Whoa, just saying that like almost brought tears to my eyes because I'm thinking about my daughter Katrina and how she deeply cares for me and shows up for me. It's a deeper statement, right? Because it's more specific. So, I want you to write the 3 things you're grateful for. I want you to look at those identity statements, the new decisions that you make and evidence for those new decisions. I want you to pick your top 3 most empowering new decisions, right? For me, one of those is I always have enough time for the things that are most important to me. That is an empowering new decision that I've adopted that has changed everything. It makes me feel like I'm not behind all the time. I can't catch my breath, right? There's always enough time for the things that are most important for me, to me. So choose your top 3 new decisions and reread those. Write out the 3 things that you're most grateful for today in specific, in clarity. And then here's the activity you can't skip. All of these really work together, but write down the top 3 needle moving things that you need to do today, this day, that are going to have the most impact and ripple effect on all the other things. So these top 3 things could be directly aligned to your top 3 targets. I would recommend that some of them be aligned directly with those top 3 targets because you're way more likely to hit those 3 targets if you're working on them daily. What are the 3 needle moving things that you need to absolutely pay attention to today in order to impact all the other things? And one of those things absolutely could be the motion piece, right? I've got to get in motion those 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. I got to get out for my run. I got to jump on my bike. I got to get to the gym because you know that is part of the foundation for everything else. That's setting you up for success. So you can get the happy hormones, the dopamine, the serotonin hit. You can get into a powerful, resourceful state and you can move forward into your day, right? So super important. So top 3 things you're grateful for, top 3 new, most empowering new decisions, right? And that you're going to reinforce. And then the top 3 needle moving things for the day. If you guys do this, it honestly, this doesn't even take me 20 minutes. I'm 20 minutes in with journaling and reading and prayer time with these 3 things. It doesn't take very long. And once you get into practice, this will become like you will thirst for this. You'll hunger for this time. And if you skip a day, you're going to be like, wow, something feels off. And it's like, yes, well, you didn't identify the top 3 needle moving things. So it really can be pretty simple, but we have to anchor ourselves and set ourselves up for success for the day. I didn't always do these things, you guys. I had a lot of years where even though I was reading and I was journaling and I was really working on this stuff, I've had a lot of years of drift, a lot of years of feeling stuck. And again, the I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't know enough. Those can be real game changers, right? Those are deal breakers and they can really stop you in your tracks. And I just decided that is unacceptable. I'm just not going to think like that anymore. I've replaced it with new decisions that keep me moving forward better um, and really set me up to live a life without regrets so that I don't have to carry about a bunch of shoulda, woulda, couldas around. I think that the power of choice is super incredible. So I do want to ask if anybody did the old you, new you exercise. I do have a reward for mindset. For the Mindset Day homework, I've got a Barnes & Noble gift certificate. I do want to award because I have for years committed $25 a month to my mind and feeding my brain great stuff. And this investment is super important to me. I want to invest in your mind. So if you did your homework, if you did that exercise, raise your hand, let me know, or let my team know, and we will reward you for that action. You guys have such an amazing day in front of you, and the flow of this day is completely available to you. So, wherever you are sitting in your car, in your house, walking into your new day, um, when you step across the threshold, the next natural step when you get off of this Jumpstart challenge, I want you to think about it like a dividing line. It's a hard stop, it's a hard line in the sand. And you're going to leave the old thinking back here and you're going to step into the new thinking, even if you haven't had time to craft all these new decisions. You're just going to say, I don't know what it looks like yet, but I'm choosing to make this day amazing. I'm choosing the mojo. I'm choosing the flow. And I guarantee you that's a step in the right direction. So I truly wish for you a blessed and amazing day. And I think that together, everything is possible. So thank you for showing up for yourself, for me, for your fellow momentum warriors, and for all those people in your life that really deserve your highest and best. Hey guys, these three things, these 3 days, tomorrow we're going to talk about money. All the money, all the sales you want to create in your business, all of the new income streams, all of the wealth building. Money is just another form of energy. If you get your energy fixed back here, money is going to flow much more easily and naturally because you're going to have your mind open to the right opportunities for those right conversations, right? And you're going to be bringing people into your field awareness, the people that line up with your targets. So, setting that financial target is super important because then you've stopped deciding what is the target and you've shifted into how do I get this done. When you do that, you actually are reprogramming your brain. We're going to talk tomorrow about the RAS system because that's the part of your brain. Once it's programmed, it's literally like the Google search bar of your mind. Once it's programmed for exactly, specifically, with clarity, what you want, now it's scanning your world, it's scanning all of your conversations for how do I get this done, who can help me do this. And when you shift all of your energy from what do I want to create to how do I create it, then your mind goes to work for you on a different way. And in the subconscious field of our minds, there's way more activity going on than we even know. So things that you didn't pay attention to before, your brain will put you on hypersensitive alert for, and you'll notice because it's answering a different question now. So we're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow, but that's where all of the money flow comes from. So we got to get into this more empowered state. We got to stay in this resourceful place so that we can charge forward. So today's your homework. Do your Power 20 today. And then set yourself up for success by doing that Power 20 every day for the 90 days after that. And just see where it goes. Have a spirit of curiosity and experimentation and just see where it takes you, right? Top 3 things you're deeply grateful for. Top 3 most empowering new decisions and beliefs, and then your top 3 needle moving things you need to pay attention to today, hopefully that are aligned with your 3 targets. Guys, so powerful, but so simple. So thank you so much for allowing me to be on this Jumpstart week with you. I'm excited. We're getting more and more momentum, and I could feel it yesterday. You know, my team had a photo shoot in downtown Wilmington yesterday, and it was just so awesome to be together. But I could feel new activities, new people, new opportunities rising to my field of awareness, even as I was driving, because I'm entering a new state of flow. So that's what this mojo is all about. Your brain, your heart, very powerful. uh, harnessing the power of intentionality and the deepest place of love and purpose in you is a very powerful place. And from there, everything is possible. With force, not so much. So, um, wow, what a true honor to be doing this work together, honestly. And I can't wait to see what you guys create with all that power. So, have a great day. Be blessed. I'm with you and for you.